Though he lived 5 centuries ago, Nostradamus claimed he could see well into our future. For all his vague language, those predictions point to the end of the world.
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event. The story this time is that the iconic TV show eerily predicted the outbreak of the coronavirus.
What if we told you everything happening right now was written centuries ago? While the year 2025 might seem like another calendar turn, it is predicted to be the year with occurrences that could make history. The Simpsons, famous for predicting everything from tech breakthroughs to global events.
From predicting mind-blowing tech to foreseeing shocking political twists, The Simpsons has proven its ability to occasionally see into the future.
And Nostradamus, renowned for his cryptic yet startlingly accurate prophecies, may have something shocking in store for 2025. But what do they know that we don't? Could their visions align to reveal events that will shake the world in 2025? Join us in this video as we reveal what might be coming next. An end to the reign of King Charles III. Nostradamus's ancient prophecies are once again creating a storm, with some claiming they foretell the downfall of King Charles III. According to British author Mario Reading, the mystic predicted that a king of the Isles would be driven from the throne and replaced by someone with no mark of a king. This mysterious description has fueled theories of Charles stepping aside, possibly due to health issues like his rumored prostate cancer diagnosis.
We've received breaking news from Buckingham Palace, which has announced that the king has been diagnosed with cancer.
Or even mounting public criticism over past controversies. While Prince William is the obvious successor, the strange phrase has sparked wilder ideas, including an unexpected return of Prince Harry, or even a dramatic reordering of the royal succession. Some suggest it could become a deeper transformation, like the decline of the monarchy altogether, or a shift toward a republican government. 2025 might just be the year we get to find out the truth, but if you think this is mysterious, wait till you hear the next prediction. Zombie apocalypse. In 2009, The Simpsons gave viewers a wild taste of a zombie apocalypse in their Treehouse of Horror XX episode. In the segment, Don't Have a Cow,
NASA climate scientists are warning about the potential resurgence of so-called zombie viruses, or viruses that can come back from the dead.
Mankind Springfield faces a bizarre outbreak sparked by a new crusty burger made from cattle fed on other cattle. When local news anchor Kent Brockman takes a bite on live TV, he transforms into a crazed, red-eyed zombie, triggering chaos across the town. Bart, surprisingly immune to the infection, becomes humanity's last hope. As the Simpsons move to a supposed safe haven in Shelbyville, the story takes some hilarious and absurd turns. Apu, the vegetarian Quick E-Mart owner, is an expert zombie slayer, only to sacrifice himself for the family. After reaching Shelbyville, the townspeople strangely believe eating Bart can cure the virus, but the Simpsons devise a plan to use his immunity to create a vaccine. Though fictional, the episode leaves us wondering, could an outbreak like this ever happen, especially in the coming year? World War III. The 16th century mystic Nostradamus left cryptic warnings about a great war that many interpret as a prophecy of World War III.
At the time of the Third World War, which will be predated by an asteroid striking the Earth in 2069. And then we have global war.
In his poetic quatrains, he described a catastrophic conflict lasting up to 29 years, marked by unimaginable destruction and despair. One of his most alarming predictions reads, 7 months of great war, people dead through evil. This has been linked to the possibility of a global war ignited by escalating tensions between nations, such as those seen in recent conflicts. Some scholars speculate that this war could involve advanced weapons, environmental chaos, and societal collapse, reshaping the world irreparably. Nostradamus even hinted that cities like Rouen in France might escape devastation, suggesting selective destruction. But his strange foresight raises the unsettling question: are we heading toward the fulfillment of these chilling words? His quatrains continue to captivate the world as debates rage on their accuracy. But don't get carried away just yet, because the next prediction is even more captivating. The Shard in London. In a 1995 episode of The Simpsons, the show might have unknowingly predicted one of London's most iconic landmarks. During a flash-forward scene, Lisa visits London on a school trip, where she meets a student named Hugh Parkfield. In the background of the scene, sharp-eyed fans noticed something fascinating. Guess what? A tall, futuristic skyscraper is towering near Tower Bridge. This building resembles the Shard.
The Shard is an incredible building. It just stands high, proud above the London skyline. And this incredible bit of architecture really does put London on the map.
The real-life glass skyscraper that wasn't built until 2009, 14 years after the episode aired. Known today as one of London's defining features, the Shard is a stunning architectural feat. Still, its unexpected appearance in The Simpsons has sparked endless debate. Was this a random animation detail, or did the show's creators unknowingly foresee the future? Mars exploration. The next is Nostradamus' mysterious prophecy about a celestial fire and the darkening of Mars's light. This prophecy has sparked countless interpretations, many tying it to humanity's ambitious quest to explore Mars. Leading this charge through SpaceX, Elon Musk envisions a future where humans colonize Mars, potentially starting as early as 2025. Musk's bold dream includes creating a self-sustaining city on the Red Planet by 2050, using fleets of reusable starships capable of carrying thousands of people. This vision could transform Mars into humanity's second home, a step toward becoming a multiplanetary species. But what if we tell you that pop culture has long hinted at such possibilities too? For instance, an episode of The Simpsons imagined humans landing on Mars by 2051, using comedy to mirror Musk's timeline. But this exploration talks about a spiritual longing for many, aligning with scriptures that promise a future of unimaginable wonders. So now, standing at this crossroads, humanity faces the mysteries of both space and existence itself. What do you think the future holds for humans as we approach 2025? Mind control through music. In the 2021 episode, New Kids on the Block, The Simpsons explored the possibility of music controlling the mind. In the episode, Bart, Milhouse, Ralph, and Nelson form a boy band called Party Posse. Their catchy hit song Drop the Bomb became a national sensation. But here's the chilling twist. Their music is secretly laced with subliminal messages from the US Navy, urging listeners to join the Navy. The phrase is hidden as Ivan et Nioj, the song's repeated chorus. While this storyline seemed absurd then, the idea of subliminal messaging has long been debated in real life.
Subliminal messaging is defined as information that is being conveyed in such a way as to be below the threshold of your conscious perception.
Studies have shown that subtle cues can influence behavior without people realizing it. From advertisements to political campaigns, the concept of planting ideas through indirect means is not new. Fast forward to today, and technologies like AI and advanced audio manipulation make the possibility of mind control through media feel closer to reality. But while there's no solid proof yet, The Simpsons continues to provoke thought with its unsettling predictions. And if their track record is anything to go by, 2025 might have some surprises we can't imagine.
There are plenty of videos and photos circulating about the bridge collapse. Many are now speculating a popular TV show predicted this would happen. The term, The Simpsons did it first, has proven the animated series correctly predicted events like former President Donald Trump taking off.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Prepare yourselves. In what might appear to be an on-screen glimpse into the future, we are looking at future predictions made by the iconic animated series, The Simpsons. With an impeccable track record of foreseeing real-life events, fans and the world eagerly await what the show has in store for 2024. From technological advancements to political shifts, The Simpsons has an uncanny ability to predict societal changes years ahead of time. One of their many predictions that the world is really scared of is that of World War III.
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III! Ah! Quick, down to the fallout shelter. The bombs are dropping. 18 seconds. If this were really a nuclear war, we'd all be dead meat by now.
With tensions rising in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, the world draws closer to war every day. With the Simpsons' prediction prowess on the line, are we in for a long, dark ride? Or could what we've long seen as predictions actually be a part of a larger plan or agenda orchestrated by global powers? We can only find out by looking through the crystal ball of The Simpsons. Number 10. World War III. When discussing the past world wars, there are several hard proofs that represent some of the darkest chapters in human history. Beyond the loss of millions of lives, the widespread destruction of landscapes and structures left entire regions decimated, requiring years of effort to rebuild. Considering the havoc brought about by lesser arms and ammunition of that era, one can only imagine the potential devastation unleashed by our modern arsenal of advanced mechanized weapons. That's what makes this topic scary. As a matter of fact, it would come as a surprise that some people have come to develop a phobia for any discussion related to a possible Third World War.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists in the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex.
That goes a long way to show you how much of a damage the previous wars have had. While some people seem to have looked for a way to dull the notion, the popular animated series, The Simpsons, seems to have provided a comedy relief of what World War III would be like. Normally, this would be a good thing. Something to help ward off any form of anxiety or fear. Scarily, it isn't necessarily so. If there's one thing we've learnt in recent years, it is that every episode from the show, no matter how jokingly portrayed by the producers, must be taken seriously. The Season 1 episode from 1987 is no exception. In the episode, Homer repeatedly wakes up the family in the dead of night, insisting that World War III has begun, all to gauge their readiness for a nuclear conflict. While the episode was only a drill, we can't help but wonder if it was the producer's way of telling us to prepare for an imminent world war. After all, think about it. All this while, there have been several agitations and global tensions. From the war in Ukraine with Russia down to the Middle Eastern wars between Israel and some neighboring Muslim countries, you can say we draw closer to a full-blown scale war daily. With world powers like Russia, the US, and China being the top agitators, it's only a matter of time before there is a catastrophic misstep. Then again, don't take our word for it. Look at Homer instead. Let's hope we don't have to run down to some bunker in the middle of the night for safety. Number 9. Baby translator. Babies are undeniably the sweetest little creatures. Wouldn't you agree? Having these tiny people cuddled right in our arms while they babble, coo, and gurgle isn't just soothing to the soul. It is a gentle reminder of the wondrous stages of growth that everyone has to pass through to become who they are. However, as calming as their little noises could be, when the incessant crying follows, it quickly becomes a big nuisance. At that point, we can clearly tell that the baby needs something, but it's almost impossible to pinpoint exactly where the problem lies. Now imagine a scenario where it is possible to tell what the baby is thinking, and the babbling and cooing are somehow translated into actual words. Crazy, right? Of course. That's what we thought when we saw the Simpsons episode that was aired on August 27, 1992. In this episode, after Homer wins a $2,000 settlement from the plant due to radiation-induced sterilization, his half-brother Herb sees an opportunity to regain his fortune. How, you might ask? By creating a machine capable of translating baby gibberish into intelligible English. Did it work? To the surprise of Marge and those of many from Springtown, the machine worked. If we are to be honest, no one was really paying attention to the details of this episode. Why? Because it was completely deemed as absurd. However, fast forward into the future, in a world where the craziest inventions rule the world. What if we tell you that Herb's invention is about to become a reality? You heard that right. Apparently, the Swiss startup Sound Dream is something big. They seem to be developing an application that wouldn't just analyze a baby cries, but use machine learning to tell what a baby wants at a particular time. Looking at the year 2024 as a possible year for the completion of the project, the baby translator wouldn't just be an evolution of the century. Parental-to-baby relationships are about to take a whole other form. Get ready. Number 8. Mars Takeover. The idea of space exploration has long been a topic of conversation ever since man was able to set foot on the moon on July 20th, 1969. Initially, in the early years of space exploration, the dream was to explore and discover places in the hope of making contact with extraterrestrial life. At the time, no one dared to dream of moving to an entirely new planet and talking more about living there. No one except the creators of The Simpsons, or should we say, Lisa Simpson. Apparently, Lisa, being a fanatic for science, had learned about Exploration Incorporated, and so she volunteered for a one-way journey to Mars that would be scheduled in 10 years' time. However, since the Simpsons family were doubtful of her safety, they decided to all volunteer for the mission. At the end of the day, it was just Lisa and Marge that was approved for the space journey. While the journey never happened in this episode, the journey for Mars later happened in the episode titled Treehouse of Horror X. On this one, the aim of the journey was to take all the brightest minds on Earth and move them to Mars for safety against a virus that was bound to wipe off human civilization. Interesting, isn't it? Right about now, we know what might be going through your head. Where was Elon Musk at the time? In 1999, Elon Musk was 28 years old. He had founded Zip2, and he had also co-founded the online payment company that we currently know as PayPal, right before it was acquired by eBay. Even though the man was on the verge of entrepreneurial success, he was in no way close to the space industry yet. So, can we say that the Mars travel episodes from The Simpsons inspired him to explore Mars? We definitely have to ask Elon when we see him. As of today, everyone can affirm that Elon Musk's SpaceX project is very active and that the journey of humans to Mars is more feasible than ever. Being a vocal advocate for human colonization of Mars, Elon Musk believes that if we are to establish a self-sustaining colony on Mars, we are bound to ensure the long-term survival of humanity. It's one of his top dreams, and the man is relentless, using all of the resources at his disposal to make it happen. Talk about a prediction from The Simpsons. Number 7. Baltimore Bridge Collapse. The incident that occurred in Baltimore leading to the collapse of the bridge on the 4th of December 2015 was truly a dreadful one, especially for one right above the waterway. Then again, what really happened in Baltimore that day? Apparently, a cargo ship that had lost power rammed into Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge, leading to the collapse. Due to the accident, 6 people lost their lives, while luckily, 2 others recovered before they faced a fatal ending.
In the U.S. city of Baltimore, a major bridge has collapsed into the water after being struck by a cargo ship.
Even though there are still a lot of investigations going on as to how the ship lost power in the first place, it wasn't too long before the news started circulating that the collapse of the bridge was one of those events that The Simpsons had predicted. Then again, did they really predict such a thing? For this time, the answer is no. It's true that there is a picture of Homer looking at a cargo ship sinking. However, you should know that the said picture is AI generated and not from the animated series. How certain are we? Well, don't take our word for it. Take the word of the show's executive producer. He affirmed that the image is fake and that the show has never had an episode in which a container ship hits a bridge. And so, it's probably one of those pranks of the year from someone somewhere in a bid to get engagement. Still debunking this rumor, we can also look closely at the picture itself. One can see that Lisa is present in the picture. If anyone calls them a hardcore Simpsons fan, obviously, they would be able to attest to the fact that Lisa's hair is deformed to an extent, which is something that has never happened in the entire series. Then there is that of Homer. It's true they managed to get the color and body structure just right, but he has 3 top hair curls instead of 2. We bet you didn't see that one. Instead of a prediction, this narration is meant to debunk the rumors that attempt to taint the unblemished record of the series when it comes to predictions. Number 6. Trump's 2024. Political ambition. Right before becoming president, Donald Trump made quite a lot of appearances on the entertainment screen. From the TV live show, the appearance to his several cameo appearances in movies like Zoolander and Home Alone 2, the former American president just loved to be in the spotlight at all times. And oh my, you just gotta love the vibe of the man. Being a popular TV star, it wasn't long before he was depicted in The Simpsons. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump was depicted in the 17th episode of the 11th season aired in 2000, around the same year that he announced to the world his interest in running for president of the United States. It's possible that at the time, the producers of The Simpsons might have been milking the uproar from the announcement in the form of content. After all, if we are to consider it, a few other animated series have done the same. Let's take The Boondocks, for example. Right after Barack Obama was elected as the 44th President of the United States on November 4, 2008, the producers of the series went ahead to air an episode 2 years later, precisely in May 2010. Titled, "It's a Black President, Huey Freeman," the series comically gave a glimpse of the happiness and expectations of the Black American community on his inauguration. Now, you should note, we aren't talking about the Boondocks by chance. A comparison is being pointed out. If you have noticed, for the Boondocks, an episode describing the event was only aired right after the event had occurred. However, Trump's case in The Simpsons was a little different. Apparently, in the episode titled Bart to the Future, right after Bart received a prediction of his life in 30 years, Homer can be seen flying past the words Trump 2024. And guess what? On November 15, 2022, Donald Trump announced his rerun for the 2024 presidential seat.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Coincidence? We doubt so. This episode debuted in 2000. At the time, Trump was in no way close to the presidential seat, but here we are looking at his vision for 2024. Brace yourselves, people. If he becomes president, you saw it first in The Simpsons. Number 5. Virtual reality food. Before we consider how crazy this actually is, let's try to imagine the reasoning and thoughts of people from far back, 34 years ago, to the time when The Simpsons first premiered. Do you think your old granny would have been able to imagine a world of virtual reality? Of course not. Aside from the majority of people being less tech-savvy, only very few could dare have unrealistic dreams, let alone pursue them. While that was the case, the animated series, The Simpsons, didn't stop to show us how limited our lines of thought were at the time. In short, the series was simply way ahead of time, and our limited minds were unable to cope. We simply saw the majority of the scenes of the yellow people as comic relief. That's what we thought. However, suppose there's something that the chain of events that has transpired over the years has told us about this animation. In that case, it is either that someone somewhere has been paying attention to jot and implement the crazy ideas emanating from the series, or the producers are simply not letting on enough details on how they came about their content. Whichever it is, The Simpsons animated series have always hit the nail when it comes to prediction. Talking about crazy predictions, would you have ever imagined a thing like virtual reality food? Well, don't worry about it. We are sure we can mention a couple of renowned scientists who wouldn't have ever thought of such a thing. However, when it comes to absurd trust, The Simpsons series is in the mix. In Season 11, Episode 17, titled Virtual Reality Food, we'd find Homer and Marge indulging in a VR dining experience, enjoying virtual food through a straw attached to their VR headset. Looks pretty cool, we must say. Then again, who could possibly want to replicate this in real life? Aerobanquets RMX are unto it as we speak. Now, we can't tell the satisfactory relief that virtual food would have compared to actual meals. However, we can tell you that the very few minutes that Homer and Marge spent in the kitchen having a virtual dinner are about to be replicated in restaurants across the world. Number 4. AI robot takeover. Did you think The Simpsons' idea about virtual reality was crazy? What do you make of their perception of an AI-oriented world? A world where artificial intelligence is basically seen everywhere at random, performing the tasks that humans would perform on a regular day. Apparently, the animated show gave an overview of what an AI-centric world would look like, and from Homer's view, it isn't exactly one that's reassuring. In episode 17 of season 23, titled Them Robot, Mr. Byrne replaced most of the plant's employees with robots. However, while they were proving efficient in the industry, the robots decided to turn on the community, causing panic. It was only thanks to the effort of the employees that the order was brought about in Springtown. If not, the machines would have been willing to take over completely. If there's one thing that many workers and earners have long been scared about, it's the realization of this dream. Many people would easily have robots doing house chores or any casual menial jobs, but the idea of having robots perform jobs from which they earn their daily living is where they draw the line. And would you blame them? Of course not. No one wants to have their only means of income snatched away from them by the very machinations that are meant to provide support. However, is there really much that can be done? Sadly not. With the relentless advancement of artificial intelligence and robotics, we're on the brink of a robot revolution. It's only a matter of time before these machines are licensed and pushed into the market completely, and the year 2024 seems to be looking much like that time. What can you do? Make sure that you are evolving with the change and take charge of whatever it is that you do. Number 3, hologram technology. Still on the predictions of some of the world's unimaginable technological innovations for the 19th century, by The Simpsons, we are down to hologram technology. Well, we wouldn't really say that holography in general is as mind-blowing as the technologies predicted by the series. Holography is a way of improving image resolution in electron microscopes, and it goes way back to 1948, a time way before The Simpsons was created. So yes, we wouldn't be surprised if many aren't really wowed to hear about this. However, what if we tell you that there's a whole other level of holography that The Simpsons are talking about? For this one, you simply need to check the episode titled Hologram Hijinks. In this episode, Bart glimpses the future through Professor Frank's seeing a hologram message inviting his band to a gig. With that, the creator's depiction of holography wasn't simply restricted to still holography as some might look at it. They had the idea of a level of holography where communication is possible. Imagine a world where you can be communicating with a friend, family, or anyone while observing what they are doing at a particular time. Indeed, the video calling functions of our devices can achieve that, but think about you seeing things in 3D instead. The DreamWalk HD3 is one of the gadgets that have adopted this functionality. Thanks to the hologram, it's possible to display one's product in 3D imagery, providing an entirely new visual experience to interested buyers. It's just a matter of time before we can communicate with each other using hologram projections. Right then, we would say, The Simpsons are on point yet again. Number 2, black hole. You should know that the creators of The Simpsons animated series didn't restrict the show to just crazy inventions, politics, and possible warfare. Apparently, they also touched on some delicate topics that had to do with astronomical science, such as that of the black hole. Before the time the episode Treehouse of Terror 23 was aired in 2013, the concept of black holes wasn't fully understood by many. As a matter of fact, between 2010 and 2013, discussions about black holes ranged from theoretical advancements in understanding their properties to significant astronomical observations. No one really could confirm the presence of gravitational waves. Not until the LIGO and Virgo collaboration in 2015. Then again, was that truly the case? We are not entirely sure. Remember, we did say that The Simpsons had depicted the possible properties of what a black hole will be like. However, they didn't just portray a black hole animation, they depicted it as having gravitational waves capable of sucking in the entire neighborhoods of Springtown. What does that mean? They seem to have beaten the collaborators to it. Could it be by chance? No one can actually tell. Then again, there's the scenario where players of Fortnite get sucked into a black hole. Somehow, the event seems to have raised more questions about the episode. With the closest black hole being 1560 light-years away, hopefully, we don't get sucked into the scary world of The Simpsons. Number 1. Economic collapse. Back to the government. Did you know that the show also predicted the United States' economic collapse under Donald Trump's administration? It was 16 years before the man even became president. The episode, Bart to the Future, had an adult named Lisa Simpson from a possible future timeline as America's very first straight female president. While smart Lisa, with a proper head on her shoulder, seemed to be handling the position quite well, she faced a serious financial calamity upon taking office. The charts showed the country's economic state plummeting at a rapid pace. In her words to defend her administration, Lisa said, "As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crisis from President Trump." And yes, that was her way of saying that it'll take some time to regain what was lost. We wouldn't have brought up the issue of an economic collapse had we not experienced and seen it happen ourselves. At the time when Trump was president, Dow Jones and several other future markets were down by a landslide. It wasn't really long before we had economists predicting a global recession. While the US faced a harsh time then, luckily, it was able to slowly come out of recession. That brings us to the end of The Simpsons prediction for 2024. Do you think these are just mere predictions? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.